Good evening. Welcome to the Bellows Falls Village Trustees regular meeting. It's Tuesday, January 22nd, 2019, and 6 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Any additions to the agenda for routine administrative matters and/or pressing matters that will require a ratification in a future meeting?
I have none.
Okay. Moving on to the minutes for January 8th, 2019.
I'll move approval.
Second it.
Okay. Is there any conversation? Anything on the minutes? No? Okay. All right, then. All those in favor of approving the minutes of January 8th, 2019? Say aye.
Aye.
Okay, minutes approved. Public comment on items not on the agenda, 3 minutes per person. Okay. Hearing none, move on to the manager's report.
Madam Chair, Trustees, or Madam President, rather. Couple of things. The elevator refurbishment continues, as I'm sure you saw the materials in the hallways. The finance office has moved upstairs because we were finding that folks were going upstairs and then having to go back downstairs, and it was actually worse for the public. So what we've done is, for people who can't go up the stairs, you come down on the elevator, and then there's a phone down in this room where you can call, and then someone will come down from upstairs and help you out in whichever way.
Okay.
And the elevator is also out, obviously, for moviegoers, so we do apologize for that. We don't have a way to fix that in this interim.
the date is
The
still-
physical work should be done by the end of this week, but then there's some inspection. So hopefully, by the end of next week, it'll be complete,
Okay.
which will be really nice. 'Cause
So there'll be a phone down here.
It's been a big problem, yes,
Okay.
yes. Obviously, we had the first major storm this past weekend. Still working on the sidewalks in the village. We have had some problems with the sidewalks because some of the equipment went down. The Saxons River sidewalks won't be done until after Wednesday's storm, because we do have that storm coming up. So appreciate your patience. And then you have a flyer in front of you from Efficiency Vermont. Brad Long was here today, and he wanted to let us know that Efficiency Vermont is really expanding their programs in Bellows Falls, and he'll be wherever people want him to be to let folks know, especially homeowners, know about programs they have for low interest loans, and we'll probably be calling on their assistance when we talk about the housing program. We'll talk about that at next week's joint meeting. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on to the main agenda, we have number 1, Unsafe Buildings, 66 Atkinson Street, and we do have some material in here. Looking at what happens next, I see that the owner is not in residence for the meeting to speak on the matter.
And he was served on the 8th.
On the 8th.
Finally, that happened, yes.
8th of January.
8th of January.
Okay, so we have,
What was the period of time for service? Was it, or was that the date that counts?
now,
think
That is
that's-
the date ultimately that counts. It was a long time. I mean, it was,
But don't we have
I wanna
30
say
days from then?
there's different thresholds of different things. Within 7 days, he's supposed to secure the structure from public entry, which he had done as of
Right.
a few weeks ago. I assume it's still there.
okay,
And then also prevent public entry to the private parking area.
that hasn't been done, has it?
I don't think that's done.
No.
And then the other items, the roof structures within 30 days. Temporarily short, complete the removal of the second floor ceiling is 15 days. The framing system, he has 3 months. The roof envelope within 1 month of repairing the framing system, so that would be 4 months. And then obtain verification and certification by a qualified licensed engineer that the work has been completed. So.
But he has 30 days to appeal the notification that he's just been served. That's what I was
Oh, I'm
getting at.
sorry.
Yep.
I'm
That's-
sorry.
that starts
That's
the-
the 30 days.
That
window.
starts the
Right,
clock.
right. That sounds right.
So
I
30
can-
days hasn't happened, and won't be until February 7th, I
Right.
guess.
Right, so,
So
So
we can't
it-
move forward on
technically, we
anything.
can't do anything.
We can't move forward on that until that point.
Right, so you may not want to have it on your next agenda. You might want to wait until the 30 days.
Okay.
And
So.
hope that
yeah,
something will
February.
happen. I mean, we can still talk to him in the meantime.
I think, my feeling is that, Deborah, or certainly you, Wendy, the best thing in this case, I think, would be to try to talk with Chris and see what we can do. I mean, obviously, the legal route sounds expensive and unnecessary, really. But I think that, and I think the other part is that if Chris is not able to address these issues, then it's going to be up to us, or the town, or the village, and/or the village. And, we're not in any great position right now to do anything either. So, obviously, a discussion, if that's possible, would probably be the best strategy at this point.
Sure.
He has been invited to our meetings in order to address those things, but perhaps he might be better off on a one-on-one.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
And again, we still have some time as far as his ability to appeal.
Right, and I haven't seen it since the storm. Is there anything new to report since the storm?
I drove by the other day and nothing in the plow,
Okay.
meeting the parking lot on the north side.
You want to say?
Did you notice if anything fell from the roof?
I haven't looked.
New slates? Okay.
We should take a look at that.
So we
too.
can check that in the meantime.
Okay, so,
I didn't see anything this morning.
Okay.
Driving by, we were removing snow on
Okay.
that street.
Okay.
I believe the snow's still up there. Doesn't look like anything has been disturbed.
Okay.
okay.
There's
that-
no heat, so it'll stay.
Right, it's not being occupied, yeah, so therefore nothing's melting it from inside to let the snow down, so only sunlight.
At least till it warms up the next day or two and we get all the rain they're talking about. then
Yeah,
it'll
that'll
probably
remove
clear.
some of the snow at that point.
Yeah.
Would you consider trying to reach him and see if
Oh,
he'll
sure.
come in for a meeting? I'm willing to turn up as well, so we could see where he is, what he's thinking, since the last time we actually talked to him.
Right, and we haven't heard from him since he said he was meeting with the church that might have opportunities. I mean, presumably if he had a good plan, he would have let us know.
We would think
But
so.
it doesn't hurt to reach out, and yes, I'm
Right.
happy to do that.
And then consider putting this on the first February
Mhm.
agenda at
If-
that point, which would
right.
pass the 30 days for us, so. I'm assuming that's gonna be like the second week in February for us, so. Okay, then, well, let us move on to the 203 Paper Mill Road.
Similar situation in terms of service, served on January 3rd. That one took months.
Right, but now we have to wait, we really have to wait the
The
30-day
30 days,
period.
right.
Again, that would be one to put on our.
When was he
February.
served? That was,
The 3rd of January.
okay.
And then I have a tally, it's approximately $1,700 that have been spent so far in the process, and that was for attorneys and advertising. And I don't think we've been billed yet for the sheriff in Maryland.
Okay. So this is getting up there already, so,
Yeah.
yeah. Just to get it in his hands.
Right.
All right, so that again would be a first meeting in February for us, because that'll go past the 30-day
Mhm.
time period. And then I wanted the Hetty Green Motel to be on here simply because the town is looking at possibly taking some action sometime in the near future on a piece of property that's a village property. So I just wanted us to be aware of it. The information included in your packet is the notice of intent from the health officer and the proposed health order. And the action was unanimous from the select board, correct?
Yes.
What they will be doing. Is there something in back of me? I should move my hand.
I am trying to get, I will get it, photos that the fire chief just took today, which, hold on one sec.
These are photos of the Hetty Green in its
Correct.
current state.
Correct. Okay. Okay? So there's the tree, I don't know if you wanna explain
Yeah,
it.
so that's, would be the north end of the property. I didn't realize there were 3 cars up there.
Yeah.
There's wires down across there.
Are any of those people in the rooms?
Nobody's in there.
But people do want those cars. I've gotten calls.
What I find interesting, is that those snow trails?
I'm sorry, do you want me to go
tracks, those are
back to
you?
the first one?
Well, I'm just looking at the tracks. Are those you?
No.
Okay, so there's
Oh,
been
yeah.
people, there's been people in the property.
But I
Doing donuts
believe-
anyway.
No, I believe that's probably our police cruisers.
Oh, you think?
They have been pulling in their scope, checking it
Looping
out.
up, okay.
Well, just looping it, just making sure. people,
Yeah, okay.
Because I had seen them sitting there also doing speed patrol.
I only noticed
Okay.
because it's since part, most of the snowstorm. They're not covered up, so.
Okay, so then that's that one. That's a good one of the tree.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That
Oh,
actually
yeah.
came down Christmas of 2017. So it's been down for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that's from up above.
You used it, I'm assuming you used a drone for that? Yeah.
So it wasn't Fred's attack helicopter.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. That's right, yeah.
You guys didn't get the bill for that yet?
Yeah.
I remember that one.
There, look like there's footprints out there. So,
Is that a chimney, the little thing?
yeah, that right there, yeah. And then there's one right there. There's 2.
Okay, and then that one.
Handling the snow load pretty well, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you know the owners of the 3 cars that are
I don't know.
parked?
I was surprised to see that they were there. I had no idea
Yeah.
that they were there. I knew
But
there was one.
somebody just said that the people,
I've gotten multiple calls from people who think we own that property, who are
Yeah.
interested in the cars.
Oh,
Well,
And-
if we do, my suggestion would be to put them on Auctions International and auction them off.
Sure, but,
I was assuming
Yeah, but I'm, we're a ways
PD has to
away.
check out the owners, I'm assuming, so.
Well, I'm assuming, having been looked there before, because I noticed one of the cars there myself, that I think it was 3 of them, or 2 of them were the ones that she had.
Yeah,
I-
hers is still under the carport.
Yeah,
Oh,
There's 2 other Cadillacs.
right, I think 2 of the Cadillacs are hers
Okay.
also.
Right,
Yeah.
one is underneath the carport.
And depending the
oh, I
years,
see, yeah.
No, I don't,
if
Over
they
here?
require a
I
title,
don't believe so.
then you gotta wait 30 days.
over
And
there?
the town would have to
I think I
apply for
see it, right?
titles.
Right,
If not, they
right,
could only sell them as
right.
junk.
They sell
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's you over there?
Yes.
Oh.
I thought I just, is the dumpster the villages or the towns?
I think it's for Jerio's.
I know, but I understand that, but who's paying for the dumpster?
Oh, why should we be paying for it?
Well, I'm just saying, I hope it's not us.
I don't think, I would be surprised if the town is paying for the
I
dumpster.
don't
Yeah.
believe so.
No.
It's
no,
been there
we
for quite a
wouldn't.
while.
It could be an unpaid bill, yeah.
I think there's a lot of unpaid bills.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is one of them.
Right.
Okay.
And I did, Chuck did report that the heirs are not going to be heirs, whatever.
They don't
I
want
mean,
the
I wanted
problem.
to get more information, but it was just a one-liner that basically means there are no one's interested in being the heir. And that'll be at the hearing, will be at the next select board meeting.
There'll be a
And
hearing
the-
on it? Okay.
Yeah, on February 5th.
Okay.
I believe is the date. And then I just want to mention, relative to all of these unsafe buildings, obviously the problem is money, you know, when you get down to it. And as part of the town budget, we're proposing, staff recommended and the select board approved, establishing a reserve fund to deal with these unsafe buildings, because there have been quite a few in recent years, and for at least one of them, I know, we were able to get a pretty nice loan from, or was it a grant, do you know, the church place? I'm sorry.
That was before.
But we have been able to find funding, but it's always been a scramble. And in most cases, we, the town, has
There
come
might
up
have been some
negative.
insurance on that property, I don't
Well,
know.
there's a loan on Church Place.
Okay, with the regional commission,
I
the
don't remember
Northwest
exactly
Regional
who, but there
Commission?
was a, yeah,
Okay,
a substantial loan.
okay, but still
Yeah.
a loan, so we're in debt. But
Right.
and it's doubtful that we'll recover
Right.
those costs when we sell the property. And now it's still a value to the community, obviously, to improve the properties. But we are recommending that $50,000 fund so that there are funds available to respond more quickly and just in a more organized way.
And part of
Demolitions or
the,
whatever.
is for the town to board that up, all the windows and doors.
That's what the health order is for,
Correct.
In reference to that.
secure the building.
But, right, but that's just the first step, is
Yeah, but I
securing the
mean, in
building.
case anybody here is wondering
Right.
what that's all about.
Okay, I think
Okay.
we're done with the
So,
anything
another-
hotel, unless anyone else, anything else? Okay. Moving on to Hapgood Street. Actually, it's Hapgood Place.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. It's the property with the tree in it that we have, has been around now for over 5 years. And I wanted to see if we could finally get some detail on what's going on. Every time we talked to the attorney, it was, or the manager at the time, it was bankruptcy, bankruptcy, bankruptcy. It's been over 5 years. What's going on
And
with
the
that
answer
property?
that I got was it's not in bankruptcy. It's just
That's fine.
owned by, hold on. I want to say NOE, does it?
I believe
That's
that.
the name of
Oh,
it.
no, yeah, exactly, yeah.
The last we heard of it here, I thought that the taxes were current. And I don't know if there was ever a health order issued on the property.
No, there wasn't.
There wasn't.
It was closed by the fire chief.
Right. That's
What?
right.
It was closed by the fire chief way back.
And they boarded off the porch.
The town boarded that.
Town
Town
board.
boarded
saw
the
that.
porch, yep. But nothing else has happened with it in all that time. There were constant complaints for years until the regular person who came in to talk to us complained and moved out of town. They left and went someplace else. And
So perhaps there was a threat of bankruptcy, but the information that I received today was that
they're
there's
not in bankruptcy.
Yeah,
a
well, we were
bankruptcy.
told specifically it wasn't bankruptcy.
Yeah.
So maybe it was and it came out. I don't know the history.
Okay.
All I just know is that
Yeah.
today it's not. It was.
So that's what I
it was
wanted to
at
know.
one time.
Is it clear? Is there anything that we can do at this time?
I can't say it's clear title, but I can have an attorney investigate it for you if you like, but that won't be free. Or I can
Oh, we can
have
check with
staff go as far as they
Kathleen may
can.
have something up there.
Yeah,
I
and
would
that
hope
they,
that
and they
we-
did check with Kathleen.
Uh-huh.
I would hope that we have enough resident knowledge that we don't have to hire a lawyer to
Every time.
No.
get status.
No, the status of it is that it's owned.
So,
Yeah,
and the,
it's in ownership, and there's not a bankruptcy on the property. That's
and the taxes, now here's a delinquent, there's a guy on the
In the water.
delinquent water and sewer.
Sewer. I don't know how old that is. We can't tell from here.
There's a John No on the delinquent tax report. But again, I don't know if that's this property or not.
Right, that's just it, unless we know the number of it. We're worth knowing what state is it in?
right. I can get more
As the
information.
owner walked away from the property. He clearly hasn't done anything with it, so that'd be worth checking out for
Okay,
another meeting.
So we'll
Okay.
get more.
Moving on to next meeting. Let's see, then we will move next to the number 2, FY 2020 budget schedule, which we have in our packets from Wendy. Has everyone had a chance to look at the schedule?
There's one Saturday day and then one Thursday, if necessary.
Looks okay to me.
Starting a match, I'm fine with it.
Mhm,
Gary?
I'm good.
Sounds
Seven?
good.
Yeah.
John, okay, looks like we're good on the scheduling.
Sure.
So next, I asked for the parking enforcement discussion to be here, just to briefly understand that the intention of the original, go back to the beginning of this last year. The intention was as a pilot program, simply to see what we could achieve with doing some sort of regular parking enforcement and what it would get us. Now we've stopped. Enforcement is being done as it can be done by the current officers. And there was a reason why we did parking enforcement back in what was that, the early 2010s? Is that correct?
Looks like
Yeah.
2006.
2006, 7 and 8, right?
Yeah.
So we had that there, and we raised funds, and that officer also did crossing for the school, so we were reimbursed by the school system from the town to do that part, so that sort of mitigated, what I thought was mitigated some of the cost of that officer. I'm simply saying that to continue thinking when we start our budget conversation, that we could most likely make as much money or more by ticketing with an officer. There was a reason for it then. There's still a good reason for it now. People are now haphazardly parking, again, because there's no parking enforcement done on a regular basis. I know we have 9 officers, but I'm certain we can carve out less than $10,000 to have someone doing it part-time. And I don't care who it is. Simply a matter that we are having we have really bad parking issues.
Well, most of those parking issues that I have seen or heard of are during the normal business day.
Mhm.
And my inclination would be that we find somewhere that an officer utilize some free time during the normal business day rather than appropriating 10 grand to hire somebody else, use an existing officer.
I'm not saying,
I totally
I'm
agree.
certainly not saying add any more money.
Well, that's the way I took it. I
No,
interpreted
I'm
it.
talking about carving it out from what we have. You know as well as I do that we thought we were saving thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars on getting rid of dispatch, down to 1 dispatch officer. Where did that money go? Did our budget go down? Didn't. That money got reabsorbed. So I believe that we could carve out a part-time person who's not an officer, who doesn't receive those kind of benefits, and get that done on a regular basis, so again, I'm starting to hear complaints from
Well-
residents and from business owners because we don't have any parking being done now.
There's-
Enforcement.
Well, I think we need to, you're saying part-time officer?
No, just a
Oh.
part-time person
Oh.
to get that job done.
If we
On a
can do it
regular
within the
basis.
budget constraints, I
I
mean,
feel that we have a police department,
yeah.
we have officers patrolling, they should be able to do the parking.
I know what you're saying, but my concern is that they have to go out with a chalk stick and chalk, and then 2 hours later come back. That same officer, is that officer available to do that in that time frame to make sure that they are ticketed? Instead, they get half of it done, and I've seen it, I'm not kidding. An officer who was doing it, and would walk away doing something else the rest of their day because they can't get to it. So it doesn't happen. Then you got people parking there all day, i.e. a regular business owner who comes in here and complains about it.
Well,
Okay, we have 2 officers on, correct? We're supposed to have 2 officers on per shift?
Make every effort to.
Every
Yeah, well,
effort.
let us
Sometimes
bring you
not.
options during the budget process. That's what we talked
Yeah,
about.
and I'm simply saying, make sure you
there's
keep it
multiple
open,
ways.
that there is a good reason
Yeah.
to have it done.
I'm just
Well,
not
I think
looking,
that, but the issue is this, as far as I'm concerned. There's not enough revenue to support a person, part-time or whatever you want to call it, to do this function.
I don't
Okay.
believe I don't agree with you, but I
Okay,
understand what you're saying.
well, like I said, I look at these, we've got 3 annual periods here,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And 1 year, there was 10,150, 8,420,
Mm-hmm.
and 8,465.
Right.
Okay, so so as I said, my premise is that I don't believe there's enough revenue to support having a designated part-time
parking lot.
enforcer, okay? And I think that depending on where our board, with the input from the residents, places on parking fines here in the village, then the question becomes, are we willing to designate one of our police officers to do this, knowing that the revenue is not going to cover anywhere near cover the cost, but because of the fact that the merchants are inconvenienced or whatever, we're willing to do such a thing. So I think, anyway.
I don't agree
That's-
an officer should, that the amount of money that we pay them per hour should be spent on designating them, designating, what you just said was like carving them out and making them do it all the time.
Well,
And I don't believe it's just an inconvenience for the merchants. If you'd like them to leave because they can't get enough parking available for their purchase, for their sales on a regular basis, those are 2-hour parking spots. It's not, that's 2 hours is still 2 hours. People could stay there for 2 hours. They need to move on.
But if you're
they don't
telling-
move on, they need to be moved.
but I don't think that's what, Jigs isn't saying that, but I think, for one, like I said at the last meeting, I want to know actually, on all the tickets that we have issued,
Uh-huh.
what has actually come in for money, because we had that issue where the tickets were issued, we didn't have a lot of money coming in.
Didn't get the revenue.
All right, and we were talking about sending out letters, and still, I believe, maybe that wasn't a great campaign. The other thing is, I don't see why, as you state, if there's somebody out there all day, that's pretty obvious. You ticket the vehicle, you eliminate that problem.
But who targets that? I, for one, do not believe that a merchant should be calling and saying, hey, they've been there all day. Why would you believe the merchant? What
but if
timestamp are
you-
you using to guarantee that person's been
If
there
you have
all
an
day?
officer that can drive by at 8 o'clock in the morning, or for example, is one scenario, and chalk the tire, and you come back at 11 and it's still chalked in the same position.
That's what I don't think will get
Bingo.
done. I understand, but I don't think that will happen.
Well, I think we need to change some things here. I mean, we need to
And I
make sure stuff
believe-
gets done.
This paper is the on-duty officers, I believe, did this. There wasn't a
No,
higher.
that was excuse me, there was an officer, a civil officer, who was paid to do that, and she also did the crossing. That person did it for 3 years, or maybe longer, but that's the space of time we have here. And that was a civil officer, not a law enforcement officer.
Okay.
Not all of that, because we had,
But some of it would have been incoming from,
if we're talking a Green
Police
Street
officers,
individual,
too.
that individual hasn't been there for a few. If that's the one you're
And this
referring to.
financial update is for 3 years long in the past.
Right,
and it was
exactly.
just intended to show we actually had a designated parking enforcement officer. That was the purpose of
09,
it.
08, and 07.
That's, those
Right, 'cause
years
that's
Oh,
that-
that's when we had the parking.
That's right, exactly. Mr. Reese?
Yeah, I want to take my 1 minute to speak on this. I absolutely think we have more than enough officers for this little village. And if you look at the call log, when it's most important to have them on, if it's Friday night, Saturday, or Sunday, when the activity's on. There's no reason, which I watched it the other day, the officer pulled up across from Jim's Arcade, took 5 minutes, walked up and down, and it's the same 15 cars that are violating all the time. You take care of the 15 cars, you fix the problem. There's no reason why an officer in this town can't park at the American Legion, walk 100 yards one way, 100 yards the other way to Jim's Arcade. And heaven forbid, if there's a major crime in town, you got two on where one can respond, the other can walk or run 100 yards to the cruiser for backup. And furthermore, I don't believe you even need that amount, because when you go to the Chinese restaurant, you have 4 officers, one from Alsted, Walpole, they're all sitting there eating. So this idea that we need 9 officers, I believe you need 5 for this full-time police department, a chief that lives in the village, and if you have to change, and let the chief go, and tell the new chief, this is what you got for officers. 6 and yourself, make it happen. He is dictating to you what he's gonna offer you. You tell him he works for you, this is what you need to do for us.
Thank you,
And
Mr.
that's
Reese.
my opinion.
Anyone else have anything? We
Well,
can move.
on the devil's advocate, on the flip side, I've been to a couple of places here in Rockingham with some people who told me, they couldn't make it to the car quick enough because they were at a function or something, and they were over 5 minutes and they got a ticket, and they made it clear to me they won't come back here and spend any money at all. So you can look at it both ways.
I
and,
know. I mean, I'm not a merchant in the village. I just happen to have an office with glass, and so I can watch them even more closely than I used to. And it's problematic. And people like merchants, like we see here, used to come in and complain about how there wasn't any available parking. So we'll continue that at our.
I'm sorry I missed the discussion.
Well, we're going to continue it at our budget meetings just to see whether it's something we want to include.
Yeah, I'm just concerned that I don't want my customers getting parking tickets. I want employees who shouldn't be parked there, but I don't want out-of-town people, and I don't want Friday night and Saturday all day. I don't want to see parking tickets out there, because we're gonna lose customers and have businesses closed.
Pat, you understand it is a 2-hour parking limit, doesn't matter who it is, right?
I understand, but the people that are abusing it are people who shouldn't be parked in the square anyway.
They should get tickets.
It seems to be the frequent flyers.
Yeah,
from
but
my
I
observation.
don't want to see somebody coming in for
Right.
Friday night dinner and going to the movies, getting a parking ticket, or somebody who's
Yeah.
gone out and gone to Moondog for lunch, and then gone shopping all over town
Right.
and get a ticket on Saturday.
We stopped our ticketing for Saturday and
I
Sunday.
mean,
It's in the ordinances, we
Yeah.
changed it.
the last thing I'd want to see is like we had with the older couple that traveled from here via Amtrak, left their car down there, then came back and the car was gone.
Uh-huh.
Someone towed it. You know, we make the effort to tow someone parked down there in a parking lot, but you get vehicles on a side street or in a parking lot during a snowstorm, and they're in the way, and what do? We leave them.
Yeah, no, I've seen a lot of that too.
Sounds like an easy issue.
Well,
Yeah,
we will be talking about parking honestly forever, because
Yeah,
it's
of course.
just something that is
Never gotta
always
go.
important. I mean, timed parking is important because then one space really can count for 8 in a
Right.
day. Technology is moving ahead. There are systems where if you want a couple more minutes, the system will call your phone, and then you can put in more time. Those are getting less expensive all the time,
We don't have any
so.
kind of automated system,
No, I know.
because it's expensive for us to put it in.
Right now, we don't have anything, but what I'm saying is the costs are getting cheaper, so think of it as
it'll be continued
something that
ongoing.
we're always going to be working on, and
Oh,
so
well.
we'll find the next best solution, and then it'll probably change again a
I
few
seem
years
to-
after that.
And I'm sorry I was late. I
No,
had
that's-
customers who just came in the store, and I had
Well,
to be there.
If I may,
I don't
Madam
throw
President,
Yeah.
the reoccurring comments here over the years and currently, as I think Paul has stated and as Pat has stated, is, as I term them, the frequent flyers, the repeat offenders. Those are the ones that we need to specifically target. You start ticketing them. We got a couple of boots or 1 or 2 boots, and if that doesn't work, you tow it. As soon as you tow the first 1 or 2, the word will circulate pretty quick that we're not going to horse around, and they can pay big bucks to get their car back.
Well, the ordinance has a process for how you handle multiple
Right,
tickets.
but it's the frequent flyers. I mean, there's gonna be a certain amount of discretion. I mean, I certainly don't wanna,
I don't want somebody coming
Right.
in from Connecticut who's come up and they're a second homer, and they're gonna get a ticket because they
Yeah.
spent the day shopping.
I mean, that's like complaining about speeding up on Lower Bartonsville. We're gonna stop some person because they're 5 miles an hour over because they're 5 minutes late for work. I mean, come on. Use a little discretion and common sense.
Okay, so there'll be more of this at the budget meeting, so I think we should move on. at this
Move
point.
on.
Thank you, Pat.
Yes.
Thanks, Pat.
Okay.
When I walked in.
Yeah, we're on to the manager evaluation. You have before you the forms. I believe they've been distributed also to the select board. This would be the second year using this form. We had a previous one. This is basically still new to us. Used it once.
Yeah, and just a couple comments?
Yep.
I made the same
That's all
comments
I
at
got, I
the
got it.
select board. So, from what I understand, the process that you've used is to combine all the forms into one, but you still sign on your individual form. And I'd like to meet with each of you individually. I just think that's a good way to keep communication open. And at some point, at the back of the form, there are goals.
You gotta look at those to
unspecific-
make sure they're your goals.
Right,
Right,
well,
yeah.
right now they're just generalized. I mean, they're
General
good. Protect and enhance the community's financial health and stability.
But they're not specific.
Yes, but I think we need objectives or specific, something more specific
I agree.
under those. And then I'm also preparing, I meant to get it out today, but it'll probably get out tomorrow, a memo to you folks and to the select board, just letting you know, like what I've done, the highlights, what I've been working on, and we'll go from there.
This form is, you look at it and it's not like there's bad questions on it or issues or anything, but it begs to be simplified.
Some of them are repetitive.
And,
Yeah.
So I think that if you have thoughts or suggestions in that regard, I know I would be interested in hearing. In terms of, you want to capture the essence of the evaluation, make sure it's apropos to the things you're working on. And, but this is, it's certainly thorough, but I think it begs to be simplified.
Are we talking about it again at the joint meeting? Because
Yes.
now we all
Yeah,
have
well,
it.
actually, you should have it filled out by the joint meeting.
Right.
That's
Oh.
when we're actually gonna do the evaluation.
Okay, so I guess.
I should have said that, I'm sorry.
We wing
Since
it.
I will unfortunately be on the road.
Oh, Jordy, do yours?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was nice of you.
And I
Thank you.
signed, I did sign.
Okay, great, great.
So speedy, okay.
Flash.
All right,
Bless
you know,
you.
we didn't have any room for, you gave this to us, it's just FYI.
Right, because I thought you had asked for that at the last meeting. That's the detail on the.
We don't have it on the agenda.
Delinquencies.
And we're not gonna take any action on it, it's simply looking at the delinquents. I don't understand what off unpaid means.
Yeah.
What does off mean?
Means
Oh,
it's shut off.
Shut off.
Shut
yeah.
off and unpaid, okay, got it.
But I read, I had a chance to look at the book.
Yeah.
Okay? And I picked two people from the book. And I was more confused after reading
Reading
them. Then I was hoping that the book was gonna say, this is what's happening and we've got this, but they were anything but that.
Oh,
And again, if you have somebody that, disputes the charge or something like that, and they haven't paid their water bill, shut the service off. I mean, I don't understand why there aren't more shut-offs
shut
here.
offs, yeah.
But again, I only was able to read 2 of the entries, and as I said, I wasn't thrilled with what I read.
Well, this one here,
But I would hope that our,
on the second page at the bottom,
I read
That can make any
I
sense.
read the third one from the top,
okay.
and I read the 5th from the bottom,
Yeah,
on the first page.
right, okay,
I saw both of those names in the book,
all right.
and I read both of them, and as
Yeah, I
I
don't
said.
understand, yeah, I don't get it.
And
And I haven't really taken a look at this, I'll have some more
hopefully,
time to speak on it.
Wendy will have a chance to talk to Brian and our,
And Shannon.
yeah.
And, and some of these,
Um,
I suspect, are covered in the delinquent tax sale, too, because that's covering utilities. So if these meet the criteria that the select board set, then some of them would be covered in that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it didn't,
But
whether it's in that
we don't
book or
know
not, I
which
don't
ones
yeah.
those are.
But an awful lot of them are in the book,
Oh, yeah.
and,
And then this also brings up the North Westminster
Yeah.
agreement, too, which, that's on the list.
Yeah, the list, yeah.
Yeah.
Pat?
but that,
Yeah, I'm wondering if they haven't been shut off because Mike Hines has to go and dig into the street to do it, and it's a pain in the butt to,
Oh, the type
dig
of
into
shut off.
to dig into our streets if it's something that the guy's gonna come in and pay the next day. So
Right.
they might be hesitant to do that unless everyone has kind of agreed that, let's go for that situation,
Mhm.
that it's permanent and we need to take care of it.
Possibly.
No, you're right, in
just
some
from my
cases that
quick
it
needs more
review,
need.
I wish that were the case, Pat, but
No,
that's
I
not.
just know
not the
when we
case.
had ours turned off and stuff, and when we took over John's house, they had to go in and turn off, they had to break up the street in order to turn off the water hookup there.
Right, no, she's right. There are, like, for example,
Some of those, yeah.
on the roadway job that we did this summer, we moved some of the curb stops. They were in the middle of the road under the pavement, so we moved them to where we could more conveniently shut it off.
Right,
So
right.
that may very well be the
That
case
changes
on
some of it,
these.
okay.
Yeah, these aren't, I mean, we're not happy about this. We don't want these to
No.
exist. So staff has done their best not to have these exist. So there is a reason for each of these.
Okay.
Sometimes it's that someone will have sewer but not water. That'll be the issue because you can't turn off sewer.
Okay, well, I'll definitely take them. There's a copy at the, so be a copy upstairs
Yes.
with them, so we can take a look at it. Sorry, did you have something, John?
No, sorry.
I'm trying to make sure I
No, we're good.
swivel my head, not to miss you. All right, if we move on, then we're on to the overtime and comp time reports. Anybody have anything?
I have a couple items.
Sure, John.
Are we short a sewer employee? Normally,
yes.
there's 4
Yes.
listed. We
Yes.
have 3.
There's a
had
new guy
a-
hired, he has
Yeah,
started.
he just got hired last week, I think.
Okay. Anything
Yeah,
else?
the other person actually went to Chroma.
Oh,
And then the other thing we have, under K-9 hours,
Yes.
the hours don't add up.
There's 2 lines, Jonathan. I don't know
Yep.
if you s-
and they don't add up.
Go to the second one. It says 3 hours on the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
It says 1 hour for care, 7 hours for training. That would be 8 hours, not 3 hours.
So it's probably, that's supposed to be a half. It's supposed to be 3. Well, it's 3 normally, so maybe that
Yeah.
is 10. Maybe it's supposed to be 10 or 11. I don't know. Well, we'll figure that out.
But, I mean, there's other ones on here too, but.
That don't add up?
Yeah, I mean, we could go to, there's, under the police, there's hours that aren't listed. There's someone that's listed with 0 hours of overtime. And then if you go to the line, they have the Governor's Highway Safety Program, a couple, and then they have some training hours that were overtime that aren't listed there. I'm just pointing out, the spreadsheet isn't accurate at this point.
We've had some problems with this.
I mean, these are hand extrapolated, I'm assuming. It's not-
Right, this
yeah.
spreadsheet is only produced
doesn't-
for you.
Yeah,
It
Right.
doesn't,
it's not
it's not
automated
in
anyway.
taxes or.
Yeah.
No,
Pay.
I understand that.
No,
but-
obviously we want it to be right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's clearly, if they have something listed,
And then there's
then-
nothing listed on the
does
overtime.
that
Right.
mean they forgot, I mean, did they forget to
Any-
take them off
Or
from the
did
last
they-
one?
Did they take the overtime and put it in their comp time?
Explanation on it. I mean,
Yeah, we need
No, I agree
something,
with you,
yeah.
sure.
But although one of them, it's December 11th, December 14th, December 18th, that was probably in the previous pay period though. See what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah,
So that's, yeah.
that could be
So
why
it
We've
probably
had
just need to be
payroll
erased, the other one's
issues
probably,
again,
so
yes.
probably just need to be deleted. Is most likely, because this is the pay period December 24th through January
Right.
6th. So that would make sense that
That would
they
make sense for that.
didn't clear the line. All officers listed, not cleared. So, but, well, it's definitely needs to be looked at. Anything else further on this one?
I have a comment on the salary comp, the overtime, or
Yeah.
whatever you want to, comp time.
Salary comp time,
thing.
it says here.
I know this is a personnel policy thing, but in the case of Shannon, the committee at least discussed that whether it would be appropriate to pay overtime for and I think when we agreed on the salary, I think it was certainly the understanding that that was, a job that, it was a high-paying job, required, probably at times would require some extra work. And I was disappointed to see a number there. And, some of the others are, obviously the ones that affect the town are none of my business, other than a taxpayer. But, I think that, I think there's some names on this list that probably should get comp time, given the nature of their jobs and their salaries. But I just think that, I was just disappointed to see that. So,
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, I do not recall making, I mean, I recall specifically telling her that she could earn comp time.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, it's just up to a certain amount.
Well, yeah, but it's,
All right, but, and actually,
you know, I
probably
think
better
it-
not to discuss
Yeah.
individuals, but I can talk to you offline if that would be helpful.
Well, I think the, you know, when we agree on a salary of that magnitude, or that significance, and this is a significant position. And I think we reflected that. And, you know, the idea that you're getting overtime for that kind of a position is just ridiculous.
Yeah,
So-
it's not really overtime. But
Well,
I
it
mean,
is overtime.
Most of the yeah.
It's
I
overtime.
just don't want to
You-
talk about
Again,
individuals, I'm
Jigs, it's
sorry.
probably best if it's something you had a separate conversation. We should be talking about numbers, but not about particular people individually at this
Well,
point.
anyway,
Simply because
the,
it's not the appropriate venue for this. Let's move on to the, let's see, the call logs.
Oh,
First meeting.
I'm sorry.
Do you have something else, John?
I did, but,
Okay.
so we had absolutely no sewer overtime?
Does that make any sense? Don't they have to? Is there some contractually agreed upon?
Oh, we're going back to the overtime?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't think we'd,
There's no sewer listed and they have some contract.
Yeah, maybe, I mean, I know they have to do things on the weekends.
Yeah, they're required
Um,
to do certain things.
Yeah, unless
Just like water.
Rob did it, and,
We still-
no, he'd be overtime, so, I don't, yeah, so we can check that out.
This is a not automated.
I know,
sheet,
basically,
and of
this
course,
report is an opportunity for errors.
It is, lots of them,
And-
yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, because it has
I-
to be done just for us. And the towns,
Well, it
they
is
use, they
done
use it
just-
too, don't they?
Yeah,
yeah.
So,
but it's,
It's a helpful report, that's for sure.
It is a helpful report,
we just wish there was a
And
more
it's-
automated way
well,
to
and it's-
pull overtime.
right, and it's great to track what's happening on a bi-weekly basis for
Yeah.
our overtime
Yep.
lines when it's accurate.
Right, exactly, and then we know why. We get a better understanding. Is there any way through NIMRIC that can be pulled?
possibly, but this is
payroll?
one of the things I want to talk to you guys about when we have more time to talk, actually. Okay.
About that particular type of item?
Yes.
Maybe we don't. Review agenda items for next regular trustees meeting, which is February 12th. Oh, no. Exactly when we're meeting again.
Well, we have the unsafe buildings.
Right. Yep, we have all those properties basically will be discussed again. And I'm sorry, what's our schedule for that? It's not till then.
Yeah, and the budget won't be until March.
Right.
I know you guys are eager to get started,
Yeah.
but
No,
let
that's
us
fine.
finish the town report. That's
Well,
gonna,
we'll be reviewing the FY19 stuff anyway, right, so,
Your year-to-date, right?
year-to-date, yep, correct. Anything else at this point? that we can think-
I don't have
think of?
anything.
No?
Were we gonna talk about the goals or whatever, did we,
That's at usually our first meeting of the month, which
Yeah.
is, this is not, so.
okay, we skipped it. I had just one question on
No, we went over.
under the manager goals.
Yeah.
The finance office.
Mhm.
If I'm reading this right, I don't see operate within the budget as a, as a goal, which I thought was kind of the essence of the goals
Of it in the first place?
that we set. So I just happened to notice that was
Yeah.
It's not in there?
I
Yeah.
kind of think it's a
a
given.
given, okay, all
Um,
right,
I mean, that's fundamental.
yeah, okay. I certainly
I mean, I
agree.
can write
Certainly
it
agree.
down,
That's okay,
but-
that's all right.
It's like operate
we're
within the
actually-
law to
we're
me. I
actually-
mean, that's not on there either.
Pretty well up to date on things.
Yeah, we've gotten quite a few things done since we started down this. Or have been moving along at least. Okay, so then we move along to agenda items for the joint board meeting, January 29th. I know we were looking forward to it.
Maybe it'll be warmer.
Yeah. I asked, I would like to see the sidewalk plan placed on the joint board agenda. Because I'm hearing from residents, I had one of my own granddaughters fell on a ramp that's the back of the school that gets people off the perch, if you know where those streets are. You know, the one that takes you down to the elementary school. There's a ramp down there. There's a ramp from, what's that, Prospect Street, the one that goes between Brown and all those streets there, up on the curve.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, there's a ramp down there, and because of the
You're talking about the
and-
road that comes down?
Yeah, the one, that road, which
Mhm.
nobody uses for driving, of
Right.
course. But the kids use it to get down to school, because it's right there. And if you live less than a mile away from school, you don't get transportation.
Mhm.
And because going around the long way, down like Burton, that sort of, there's a partial, if no, some places no sidewalks, which make it even more dangerous for younger children to get down. So, I
Well,
was, along with that, and not just that ramp, but other places like Hathaway Street Extension and other streets, side streets in our village that don't get plowed routinely, or only one side of the sidewalk gets done. And I know there's a plan for that, it's been in place for years. I've heard lots of arguments from the town side about it, but everybody who's paying their taxes would like to have their fair share of the sidewalk plowed. So I would like to see it on the agenda.
So you want to see the sidewalk?
Sidewalk plow plan,
Not the
dis-
sidewalk
discuss.
plan.
Okay.
Just do
Yeah,
it.
the sidewalk
Yeah.
plow plan.
Yeah,
Okay.
For
you can
discussion.
each take one if you like.
Is there
Everything
one
is
for everyone?
red.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what it
Everything is
looks like, I
red.
had one before the fire. And and it's been since 2011 according to this, if it's not even older than that, and it'd be nice for some people, elderly citizens, to get their side of the street plowed occasionally.
Well,
So,
some of the sidewalks, the sidewalk tractor cannot fit on.
well, I don't know which ones those are, there's a lot of streets here.
It
I
is,
wish-
it
I
is.
wish I wish we
Yeah.
could drop Hadley Street. You know, we now,
Drop Hadley
Sidewalk.
Street? Isn't that where John lives?
that's where I live too.
I mean,
Yesterday, I looked out the window and the sideway plow with
The blower.
the blower
yeah,
was blowing that snow right into my bushes, which I replaced 5 last summer.
So
at a
you'd like them to-
significant amount.
there isn't a sidewalk on the other side though, is there?
No.
And my heart stood still as I saw them getting hammered by the snow.
And the kids
So-
walk on the road anyway.
They walk in the road anyway, so it's,
Everybody walks on the road. It's safer to walk on the road. The
It
sidewalks
is.
are icy.
it's crazy.
On
Before
Woodland
they
Street, they walk.
Okay,
did the
you can't
road
say
work,
that, it's
they
against the
never
law to
plowed
walk
that
in the road, and if
sidewalk.
somebody gets
Yeah.
hit,
Hadley Street.
driver
Now
gets
they're
blamed.
plowing.
So we have a sidewalk plow for a reason. It's meant to clear sidewalks. We have a lot of young people and elderly people who have to deal with snow not being done. So on their side of the street, and for years, some of them since before they were born. So I would like it on the agenda just as a discussion. I brought it up probably every couple of years since I've been in the, I'd like it to be talked about.
Probably should have Mike here also.
Definitely.
Anything else? Do we have a list of what's on the joint board agenda already? Carrie, do you know?
It sounds
I
like we
do.
got
I
a
do.
pretty
I do.
full agenda.
Yeah, it is. But we can hustle some things quickly. The
Yeah.
auditors want to present briefly to the joint boards, so they'll have reports, which I think that's important. We'll have a housing discussion, as we've been talking about. That might be kind of long. The Depot Street Bridge conversation might be shorter because there won't be a decision that'll be necessary, but I want to have enough of a conversation so we move forward. We might have a request to get bids or proposals for electronic payments. Shannon and I are looking at how to get electronic payments, but there's all different kinds. Basically, if we look at just tax and utility payments, it's a very simple system. But if we want to collect everything else, which we do, or use electronic payments for other payments as well, then it's more complicated. So we need to look at whether we need to talk to the boards before we go out for bids.
Okay.
Is
Because
this
we-
for the town making electronic payments or the village? Or-
It's
or-
for customers. It's for receiving payments. So for tax, utility, opera
'Cause mine is-
house,
I've got
permits.
I have mine set up. so
Automatically
it's
through
paid.
your bank account.
Yes,
Right.
and that's great, and we'd like more people to do that. But then there are also payments like movie tickets, that kind of thing, where we'd like people to be able to pay,
I
or
see.
permits. We'd like people to be able to pay, and we'd like people to be able to pay with credit cards
Yep.
too.
And maybe parking tickets and those kinds of
Oh, yeah.
things. All that.
Yeah. So that may be on, and then there was a really good, interesting tax analysis that was presented at the Planning Commission meeting that we'd like everyone to see. It's, well, I mean, we can try to make that kind of speedy, but it's
a bunch of
it's
graphs.
just really, really interesting on, it looks at the village and the town, and it compares other towns
Like type.
that are
Yep.
geographically close, and then others that are similar in size and income. So it's a pretty interesting analysis. And that's it.
Okay, so that's what we have for the agenda.
And then the evaluation.
Okay. Yes, Pat?
Yeah, is the BIFTA and the chamber on the joint
Oh,
board?
I
they
hope
usually
they're not.
are, right?
Are they on it?
They
Yeah,
usually
usually
are,
they are.
traditionally.
Could you make them like,
We could
tell them it's
cut
10 minutes?
we could
Yeah,
cut
they
it.
won't, they don't.
Put a
talk
cap on
about
it? Okay.
It's just they just want to be there, so they
Yeah.
have questions.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, other than that, anything else? All right, so moving on to approve orders, bills, and warrants.
So move.
Wait, we didn't have any.
Hold on a second. For the joint board meeting, are we going into any more discussions about municipal agreements or no?
Not this one, I
Not
guess.
this one? Okay.
I
thought
didn't
that
see
was,
any bills and warrants.
We had talked about that originally, but then,
Okay. I was just curious,
went
because
by
my
the
notes
board.
had said that it was for that the January joint board meeting that we were gonna continue municipal agreements, but.
Yeah.
I thought we were just, we were pretty much agreed on things and we were gonna
Well, they were
hopefully
gonna get-
redraft.
Right, that's what we
great,
were
but that
expecting
takes
to see
time,
was
yeah.
to see a
Okay.
redraft on
But-
some of these
But Wendy thinks,
documents.
has said that's gonna be a while down the road before we get
Yeah.
drafted.
Okay.
yeah.
Um,
Or we could pay an attorney to do it if you want before
No.
that, but,
No, I
okay.
don't wanna-
do we not have any orders, bills, and warrants to approve today?
Wendy knows what to say to me.
I think that would come
She
from,
wants
to
I
be
know, not you.
Oh gosh, I hope not.
Wendy?
I'm sorry if we do. I mean, they're not in front of you.
Okay,
Uh,
What's
okay.
that?
Next
Orders
time,
and bills.
That's
orders,
gonna
bills,
be
and
pretty
warrants.
sad.
Thankfully, I signed them.
Then we do, I don't know if I could run up and go get them.
We could probably put it off
It
to the
might be
next.
around
Yeah, that's all right.
the station, but it could be the next.
Next meeting, I guess.
Yeah.
Or the January 29th if you got.
All right.
So I guess we don't have that to do.
So we can't approve them without having them here?
Without having,
You have to
you,
decide.
you have to see them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Other business, John,
Nope.
Stephanie.
How'd we make out, I see an email reference to skating rink and hot chocolate, how'd that go over?
I don't know. I
do.
can find out.
You do, okay.
I saw it right before I came down that he has to flood it once more.
Oh.
He's gotta get the snow off, continue to get the
Oh,
snow
yeah,
off,
yeah.
and then he's gotta flood it again.
Oh, God, tomorrow's gonna rain.
And it's gonna
slut-
rain,
Yeah,
yeah.
so we'll see how that goes.
Shoot, so there has been no skating yet? Darn.
I don't think so.
We've
I
only
haven't
had
seen
a couple
anyone
of
over there.
really, really cold days.
I haven't seen anybody over there.
Yeah. Anything else, Steph?
No?
I think I'm good tonight.
No, I'm good.
Here. Jinx? Wendy?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Make a motion to we adjourn.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.